Hi, I'm Tyler, and this is my kefir I'm about to process. And this went a little long. As you can see, there's some significant separation down here. For me, I prefer it to just barely start to separate the curds and whey. The whey is a little bitter and acidic to me, but it'll still turn out okay. I was going to do it this morning, but got busy getting to places I needed to be. So I think this set here for about 2 to 2.5 days, but I'm just gonna process it through the strainer so I can get my kefir grains out. I need a spoon, so let me grab a spoon. Okay, so for me, I strain it because I like it to be still thick, but not as chunky. I don't mind the chunky, but this just helps to get the grains out as well as kind of blend it all together. So I'm just gonna push it through the strainer here. And at first there'll be grains on top. And we're gonna put some of these grains, I'm gonna do 2 different jars here because I do have quite a few grains right now. So for me, I like whole milk. So this is whole milk. I've done goat milk before, I've done raw milk before, and for me, I just like store-bought whole milk, so that's my preference. The others were just fine. Goat milk was a little more cheesy in flavor, but it tasted great, and the raw milk is just super expensive. I mean, it's probably almost double to triple. And then, that being said, I bought this whipping whole heavy cream here, and that was expensive. But this, I'm just gonna pour in so that you end up with 2 different things really. The whole cream or the heavy cream, it's probably put too much in there. But it comes out really thick. If I add strawberry to it or something, it's a little sweet too, not super sweet, but it's just kind of almost like, for me, it's closer to ice cream consistency. So that's a quart, and then the whole milk's is in a 1/2 gallon jar. So I'm just gonna drop that in, and that's gonna be enough to take care of that. Okay, so the rest is gonna go into this jar here. Just drop some. And I know some people like to know exactly how much. I mean, it just processes faster because your grains are gonna grow. So we got a few more grains in here. I'm gonna put them in there. And then if you just scrape grains off the top, because when I first started, that's what I'd do. I would just scrape the top and then I would keep the chunky. But I did find that the further I went down, at times there's other grains in the mix. So I like to have the grains. So again, just pushing it through down into the pitcher. In a perfect world, I'd have a pitcher that this whole thing would sit in, but so I have to kind of put it to where it doesn't exceed the rim. But it quickly goes through. Kombucha is great too, but the processing of kombucha just takes a lot longer for me. This is pretty simple stuff, straightforward. I drink about 2 cups a day, and I'm just rotating kefir from my fridge out to my shelf, and I just keep rotating it around. So I always have 1/2 gallon of kefir. So you can see there's some small grains right there in there. So that's why if you consume grains, it doesn't hurt you. It's probably really beneficial. There's people that eat their grains. I talk to my grains sometimes, so I don't know about eating them. I'm sure I've eaten them. So now we're getting down to some of the whey. And again, more for me, the whey by itself is just really not appetizing. It's acidic, it's bitter, it's made me throw up one time. And maybe it wasn't that, but it didn't help. So there's some grains in there. The further I go down and those grains will just keep growing. And then finish up. So how do you start? Well, you start by getting some grains and putting it in some milk, goat milk, sheep milk, cow milk, heavy cream. I go with whole, and you let it sit on a counter, and you'll see that it's thick, and it'll start to separate. And so now I pour mine right back into the jar that I processed it from. I'll put this in the fridge. At this point, if I did a second fermentation, I would put orange or whatever really, bananas, blueberries, strawberries, and I would put maybe about just a little bit down here, less than, well, maybe just even the first mark on the jar, and then kind of mix it around. It takes on that flavor. It doesn't, like with strawberry, it doesn't taste exactly like strawberry. It tastes more like sour cream mixed with a little bit of strawberries, probably how I would say it tastes. So this will go into the fridge. Actually, all 3 bottles will be going into the fridge. And then I'll pull out one of the bottles that I'll process in 2 days. That's been sitting in there, because when I put it in the fridge, everything slows down. Otherwise, I'd have kefir coming out my ears. If I drink 2 glasses one day and 2 glasses another, that drinks a whole bottle. And then I process it, put the 1 bottle in, put the 1 bottle out, and that's how I kind of cycle through it. So anyway, heavy cream, it works really nicely. I think the grains appreciate it, and just milk. But if you're looking for grains, just get out into your community and find them. I'm actually going to be freeze drying some grains because I have so many grains right now. I put them in my freezer. My neighbor has a freeze dryer, and I'm going to freeze dry them and then see if supposedly they're able to come back to life. So I'm going to experiment with that because I have shipped grains to people across the United States, and it's just expensive. So if I can freeze dry them, then it'd be considerably less money. So I'm open to that as long as it works. So anyway, I'm Tyler. Hit me up and keep after it. Kefir is is super healthy for you, and I appreciate it and love it. So anyway.